Hello and welcome everyone, my name is Fake Fairy Tale, although I'm starting to think I might be real by now, and in between videos I've finished up all the negative space that we have here, and in the meanwhile I've also uploaded my first video a few days ago, and I would quickly like to thank you guys for responding. It has been received quite well, better than I anticipated initially, so thank you very much. It really cheers me up to see that everybody still sticks around and that we're still going strong, although I haven't posted much for a couple of months. In the meanwhile, you might hear some noises in the background because I'm recording this video like on the day before New Year's Eve, so there's still quite a lot of fireworks going off in the neighborhood, so apologies for that if you hear some of the bangs, but it's nothing I can do about it right now. I might be able to edit them out later. So for this video, I would like to focus on fixing up the walls and beautifying them a little bit. So I want to make sure that we have proper corners on all these small pathways. I want to install the larger objects that will give a curved feeling to these little pathways over here. And we might as well already add in the shadow paths that go along with that, and as well as the lines for the grading on that side and the bottom over here, and potentially also some kind of transition over here. So we'll start with and of course the pillars, so that we have beautiful corners for all the main walls here and there. So to start it off, I think I'm going to start with the easiest sections. Those are the ones in the middle over here, because I know for a fact that there are objects that we can place over these, and that'll be quite a quick fix. To show you what I'm talking about, I have showed this before in videos, but we'll just find stone walls, and then we'll scroll down, search for the correct wall that matches with the stones that we have there. These are the ones. Yes, this does look as intended. Okay, so we can use these to place them over the current wall tiles. I'll do it like so. And you see that this looks good on most sides of this corner piece, however, not entirely. So for the one stone over here, I want to add in a new end section and place that on top over there. I need to redo that. There we go. And that'll look just fine for most of this. So I'm going to rinse and repeat this over all these walls over here. And we'll do the same thing for the walls up here on the corners where it's necessary. If two different walls intersect, two different wall types, I'll probably just place down a pillar, because a pillar looks nice as well. Give you a quick idea. We can use either these ones. I think that would work, but preferably something that looks a bit more weathered. No, I think I'll just go with these ones for now. This one is actually better. And I'm going to place that on the sections where you have two different wall types intersect. And I'll include the top section as well. I'll do this in fast forward. And now I think of it, I might as well do the same thing with the corner pieces over here, because it's basically the same idea that I do with these walls that I just showed you. And I don't think it would be much of an added value to pause the video there and walk through that process, because it's really much the same. I think you can just call it curb. We'll scroll all the way up. See if we can find the curb over here. Like, these are the ones. And we'll invert this, scale it up, and then we'll just do it like so. We'll grab another piece, place that a bit further down. Even further. These I think are going to be a bit finicky, but we can do it like so. And with some puzzling around, we should be able to make this all look a-okay. Like, there we go. That would work. Awesome. I'm gonna do something like that everywhere on all these places, although these gonna be a different object that we can use for that. I'm going to put the video in fast forward for now, and I'll be back with you guys in just a little bit. Okay, and we're back. I did a lot of things in the meanwhile. Also got a little bit of sidetracked here and there. However, let me quickly go over the things that I did so that I can, take you by the hand, show you how to go about it, and then we'll proceed onwards to the next task. First of all, I decided to not pay too much attention to this area because I think I want to add in a secret treasure room, but I'm not entirely sure yet. So let's see how this is going to look before we're going to fill this in with either negative space or an additional room. One of the things I changed is that I added these shadow pathways on the secret doors. I did the same thing up here, all the way up here. I realized I actually overlapped it with some negative space, so I opened it back up. I did this so that you can, when you use this in VTT or when you use it at the table, you can just color this in. And then you don't already notice that there's a secret doorway based on the fact that there's a line missing over here, the shadow path. So I fixed that up on both the secret pathways to make sure that it's properly covered and that you can use it. Outside of that, I placed a railing over here. Made sure that this looks nice already. I placed some supporting beams underneath as well, which is actually something I shouldn't be doing right now, but oh well. I get sidetracked a lot when I do this. And let's see, all the way back up here, I moved the wall a bit further down to make sure that this that it aligns well, does the same thing as it does up here. For some reason, Dungeondraft is very choppy right now. I have no clue what's going on here. Maybe that's much better. Sometimes the drag and drop tool over here, the move tool or select, is just very buggy. I don't know what happens. I added in a staircase over here, and I actually did a few things a bit different than normal. Initially, this was just a curb pathway following down the staircase that we placed over here. And that doesn't look too well. You get these weird lines on the curb pathway that don't align with the steps in the staircase itself. So I decided to do it a bit differently because it looks very fake. You can spot it from a distance and I don't like that. So I added in these sections of curb that I placed in here as well. And I added very thin shadow paths, the one that I highlight over here. This is what I inverted, but it's just a shadow path that I placed right on top over there to make sure that it looks like it's declining. Let's place it all back. That it's that there's a height elevation difference, and I put a longer shadow pathway down here, as you can see. Placed that at the bottom over there to make sure that this gradually becomes darker. And now that I actually think of it, we could. Oh, no, we can't already. We could extend it to the side so that we can cover the whole staircase, but we'll do that later when we work on this area as well. I'm thinking about placing a railing on top here as well to make sure that it's like sort of protected, that you don't fall down easily. I did the same thing on top over here. Placed all the cornerstones, and I haven't done the shadow pathways for the little arc bridges yet, but I think that's going to be one of the next steps that we're going to go through. Unfortunately, there is a teeny tiny bit of artifacting that comes with these walls that unfortunately I can't really fix. I tried a few things, but it just doesn't work, which is unfortunate, but we're going to have to deal with that. And to be fair, from a distance you probably won't even notice it at all, so it's not that much of a problem. I also added in the walls over here, the corner pieces, made sure that the doors look neat and nice. And the same thing, I did some adjustments over here. This doorway is just a bit funky. It looks kind of odd, but I just placed another door handlebar on top of there, and I actually think this could make kind of sense. You could like barricade the door from the backside and it would be very hard to open to push out. So if you have like some kind of metal beam over here, which we actually might place down just to indicate that that's an option. And I think for now that's most of it. We do need to add in the wooden pillars here as well, but that might be something I do in between videos just to speed up the progress, because otherwise, and I apologize that I've been fast forwarding quite a lot, but it's just quite repetitive to place all these objects down. And when we come to placing objects in the room and designing the rooms, I think this will change up and I won't be fast forwarding as much. So that will get better at some point, I hope. Now, having said that, I think we want to proceed with well, first the wooden columns, and I'm going to add some pathways to indicate that these areas are bent. These are actually objects that help with that illusion quite well. I believe they're from a fountain set, so that will make it much easier to create a perception of a bent bridge. So how would I go about creating such a bent archway? Now, and in order to create these pathways, we're going to snap the grid, and I'm going to place it on layer 2 to make sure it's underneath the railing over here. I'm going to place it on 0.2 so that this side of the arc is a bit longer than the other one. And we're going to place it down like so. And now we're going to turn it around and make this 0.1. Smallest possible size, and we'll drag it the other way. And there you go. You can already see that it has this, it's a bit lighter on the top and it's a bit darker on these edges. We might even put an emphasis on the top by lighting and highlighting it a little bit on the later stage. However, we're not going to do that right now. I think this is sufficiently indicating the curve that's there. You can always go one step darker, but I think this is perfectly fine for now. What we want to do then is also help with the archway over here, the bended arc. We'll make that a tad larger, so say 0.25. We'll place it on layer 3 and we'll take it from here to the side, so to properly indicate that it's curving down. There we go. And we have our curve. And at some point, when we place down the lighting, we can actually create a shadow that it's like a drop shadow from this curved archway to show what the curve actually looks like. But that's something for a later stage. I don't want to dive into that too deeply right now. And we'll just go through that. And if that's something you want to know right now, actually, I do have a video about these kind of shadows that you can draw. I'll link it on the top right corner of the screen right here, so that you can click on that if you want to have a bit of an in-depth tutorial on how to draw shadows. Now, I think that will be it for now. So let me quickly put this in fast forward again, place down these shadow paths and the pillars over there, and I'll be right back with you guys in just a little bit. Okay, and we're back. I've placed down all the pillars in the walls, as well as some supporting pillars for the roof, because as a matter of fact, we are underground here. And I think it would make structural sense to add in some pillars that will help support the roof. These pillars here will get some stone footing underneath, but we'll do that when we're detailing. And I also finished up the bridges, or the small archways, as you might say. I also decided to already put in a light to highlight it, and it's actually quite simple. This is one from Krager's Shadows and Lights pack, if I recall correctly. And I used the overlay ice. There are a few different ones that you could use, but I really like the shape that this one has, and it suits well for the bridge because it matches the width. And I played around a bit with the range and intensity. I dimmed it down a little bit to 0.8, and I placed in this archway 3 next to each other. I can show right here. And this one is the big light, so we can take that away for a moment. And as you see, it gives a little bit of a glow in the middle, which puts an emphasis on the arced shadows that are on the sides. And right now this may look a bit odd, but if we add in all the other shadows, because as you know, these big lights still have to be removed, and we'll need to add in shadows through the entire sewer systems. They won't stand us out as much because right now they're actually kind of close to finished in comparison to the rest of the dungeon. So with that finished, I think I want to do a few last things, one of them being a shadow path to... Oh, I see that I actually missed an archway there. So I'll go fix that up in a minute. I think I'm going to add a shadow path to these areas over here to indicate their height difference. And I think the easiest way to do that is, well, let's take a shadow path and maybe, can we snap it? Yes. We'll have it fade in and fade out. And we'll start it a bit further up above and further down below. I think this will work because if we have only a shadow on this side, it will get really dark in contrast to the rest of the sewers. And although we'll add in some more, and let's see, I can do some shadows here as well. I think by dragging out a little bit, you'll get a softer transition from the shadows over here to the rest of the dungeon, and it won't be as notable that you've done this. And maybe it will help out if we just make it a really thin strip close to the edge as well. And we'll try and make this area a little bit brighter with a little bit of light. So we can maybe that work. There's too much of a pattern in there. I think this could work, but we're going to need to remove this light for a moment. Like, just skedaddle over there. Take the light tool and I'll just add in some faint lights on this side so that this is a bit brighter than the side on the right. We might need to adjust it at some point. This might actually not hurt at all. Just do it like so. But we'll look at that later when the rest of the shadow paths has been done and we know what we want everything to look like. I'm gonna repeat that process and below here, and I think that's the last one. Yeah, I'll fix that up, and I'll also fix up the archway over there in between videos, and we're gonna proceed onwards with the next thing in the next video. Now, let's see what would be the thing to do. I think we're going to add in the water effects along the lines here, make sure that the water starts to look natural. And when that's done, or maybe in a different order, we'll start adding in the basic shadows for the water area as well, which means just the area along the edges of the curbs. Make sure that it's clear that the water is a bit lower than the edge of the curb. And we're going to add in some floating things here and there as well. And I think we'll draw focus to the water for like the next episode, maybe 2, and make sure that that's done. And then after that's finished, I think we'll proceed and add in some shadows to the hallways. and we'll probably do the rooms as the final touches or the final things. Well, I would like to thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do hit the like, favorite and subscribe buttons. It really helps to get my video out there as usual. And if you have any cool suggestions for the map, please feel free to share them in the comments as well. Any response is always appreciated, and I always enjoy reading messages of people that really like the videos. So thank you guys, and see you again in the next video.